In the uncompromising world of boxing, where brutality meets brilliance and only the most disciplined survive, Naoya Inoue emerged not as a loud figure shouting for recognition but as a silent storm tearing through weight classes. Known simply as the Monster, Inoue became a name feared by seasoned champions and hopeful contenders alike. Though his first name puzzled announcers and fighters unfamiliar with Japanese phonetics, his fists required no translation. He introduced himself through violence, precision, and an unsettling composure that left audiences in awe and opponents bewildered. It's easy to be intimidated by a fighter's reputation before entering the ring, but nothing compares to the moment of contact, the instant when expectation collides with reality. For British champion Jamie McDonnell, that moment came in 2018. A towering 6-foot bantamweight, McDonnell was not only physically imposing for the weight class but also known for his toughness and conditioning. He entered the ring with confidence, looking to use his reach and length to his advantage. The strategy, on paper, made sense: jab, move, stay long. But Inoue has a way of disrupting plans before they materialize. McDonnell tried to create distance early in the bout, snapping jabs and circling, cautious of Inoue's reputation for power and speed. But within seconds, it became apparent that he couldn't keep the Monster at bay. Inoue slipped through his reach like a needle finding the smallest opening in fabric. The Japanese fighter's timing was exquisite. With footwork honed from years of amateur excellence and professional discipline, he closed the gap and landed punches with mechanical efficiency. The power wasn't just real, it was paralyzing. McDonnell, who had never been stopped, suddenly looked like a man trying to hold back a tsunami with a fishing net. After eating a series of precision shots, his defenses crumbled. By the second knockdown, the reality had sunk in. He wasn't just fighting a great fighter. He was facing something different. Something that didn't flinch. Something that hunted. The bout was over swiftly, yet in that short time, McDonnell had experienced a level of dominance that few can describe. He wasn't just outboxed. He was overwhelmed by a fighter who didn't need rounds to warm up or time to adjust. Inoue didn't need your name to be world famous. He just needed you to stand in front of him. 2021, Inoue encountered a different kind of opponent, one who seemed physically unbreakable and emotionally undentable. Aran Dipaen of Thailand stepped into the ring with a formidable reputation. He had never been dropped, never bled in a fight, and fought with the stoicism of a warrior forged in Thailand's unforgiving Muay Thai gyms. He stood across from Inoue not with arrogance but with unshakable confidence. His walk to the ring was steady. His gaze, unfazed. But even stone crumbles under the right pressure. The start, Dipaen wore a smirk, brushing off Inoue's reputation. He kept a high guard, marched forward, and tried to impose his physicality. But bravado has a shelf life in the face of brilliance. Inoue's punches didn't just land, they penetrated. With every clean connection, Dipaen's expression shifted ever so slightly. Gone was the overconfidence. In its place, the dawning awareness that Inoue's power was not hype, it was a living, breathing truth. Still, Dipaen resisted. He tightened his guard. He gritted through body shots that thundered against his ribs. Inoue went to work like a technician with a scalpel, measuring distance, testing angles, and mixing his shots with terrifying speed. Each punch was a probe, and each probe led to pain. Dipaen bled for the first time. He looked up in frustration, not disbelief, but reluctant acceptance. What made the fight remarkable wasn't just the violence, it was the spirit of both men. Dipaen refused to go away quietly, and Inoue, sensing he had to break his opponent physically and spiritually, kept turning the dial. As the rounds wore on, Dipaen's movement turned from assertive to survivalist. He wasn't retreating to reset, he was running to escape. His body language told the story, the pain was catching up. Eventually, Inoue found his moment. A picture-perfect punch sent Dipaen crashing to the canvas for the first time in his career. The referee looked closely. Dipaen's body was upright, but his will had caved in. The bout was waved off, and the Thai warrior walked away beaten but not shamed. He had given all he had, and learned what it meant to face a fighter on another plane of existence. The monster's path to immortality continued, and on December 13, 2022, at the Ariake Arena in Tokyo, he faced Paul Butler, a British fighter with experience, a lengthy win streak, and a well-earned world title. Butler's confidence in the pre-fight build-up was palpable. He downplayed Inoue's skill, focused on strategy, and acted like a man who had seen it all. But confidence can be deceiving, especially when it's based on perception, not preparation. From the first bell, it was evident that Butler had miscalculated. He moved, but not with intent. He jabbed, but without conviction. The first time Inoue landed cleanly, the expression on Butler's face changed. It was no longer a match, it was a slow-burning disaster. Butler tightened his guard, trying to limit the damage, but Inoue's patience allowed him to pick the lock. Round after round, Inoue dissected him. He didn't rush. He didn't chase. He simply hunted, methodically, silently. Butler offered no resistance. Every attempt at offense was punished. Every movement backward was met with pressure. Inoue, recognizing the non-engagement, decided to put on a show. He added flourishes to his combinations, ollie shuffles, behind-the-back moves, and teasing taunts. He wasn't just fighting anymore. He was performing. Butler's reluctance to engage gave Inoue time to turn the ring into a showcase. But even entertainers know when to close the curtain. In the 11th round, Inoue unleashed a right hand that staggered Butler. What followed was a thunderous sequence of punches that ended the fight decisively. Butler lay on the canvas, defeated not just by the power but by the suffocating presence of a fighter operating on another level. Following that dominant performance, the boxing world turned its attention to what could be Inoue's crowning moment, a clash with Marlon Tapales to unify the super bantamweight division. The stakes were historic. A win would make Inoue the first-ever undisputed champion at 122 pounds and only the second male boxer in history to become undisputed in 2 weight classes during the 4-belt era. The pressure was immense. The expectations were astronomical. The opponent, however, was not to be overlooked. Tapales, a gritty Filipino southpaw, came into the fight with his own reputation, a reputation built on toughness, angles, and a willingness to stand his ground. From the start, Tapales looked sharp. He jabbed effectively, moved with purpose, and looked for opportunities to land counters. It wasn't one-way traffic. Tapales was there to fight, not survive. But Inoue, as he always does, adapted. He didn't force the issue. He watched. He adjusted. He found the rhythm and started timing Tapales' entries. When the monster began to land cleanly, the mood shifted. In the middle rounds, a left hook from Inoue detonated on Tapales' chin, sending him to the canvas. It was a defining moment, one that showcased the Japanese champion's balance of power and precision. And yet, Tapales rose. Hurt but defiant. The next several rounds were a chess match with heavy consequences. Inoue, now respecting his opponent's heart, kept the pressure on. Tapales returned fire with admirable grit. For the first time in recent memory, Inoue looked like he had to work hard to maintain control. Then, in round 10, Inoue once again demonstrated why he is a generational fighter. 2 massive right hands connected, one to stagger, the other to destroy. Tapales dropped to his knees, trying to collect himself, but his body betrayed him. His balance was gone. The finishing blow had landed on the temple, scrambling his senses and ending his night. The arena erupted. Japan's finest had done it. Inoue now stood at the summit of a second weight class as the undisputed king. His 19th knockout in 21 world title fights had pushed his knockout rate to an absurd 90.4%, the highest ever recorded among champions with 20 or more world title fights. Still, the monster wasn't done collecting souls. In January 2025, he faced Ya Jun Kim, a powerful, muscular Korean fighter who looked the part of a destroyer. But looks are illusions. And in boxing, illusion fades with the sound of a bell. From the walk to the ring, it was clear Kim was in trouble. Inoue's demeanor was emotionless. He didn't smile. He didn't nod. He stared. The fight began, and within moments, Inoue's fists landed with malicious intent. Kim didn't even have time to react. A flush combination connected and sent him crashing to the mat. The fight was over. The lesson was delivered. Kim had mocked. Now he lay mocked by reality. Not long after, another contender stepped up, Warito Parenus, a heavy-handed fighter with world-class experience and a dangerous punch. He was eager to test Inoue after a year-long layoff. But eagerness is often a gateway to disaster. Inoue came out of the corner with venom. He wasn't shaking off rust. He was delivering statements. Parenus tried to smile through the pain and attempted to smirk as if unfazed. But the body doesn't lie. He was freezing, overwhelmed by speed and timing he couldn't match. Inoue, sensing the panic, began to play. Not playfully, but dangerously. He dropped his hands. He showboated. Then, with no warning, he exploded. Parenus was backed into the ropes and bombarded with punches. The referee stepped in, but the statement had already been made. Inoue, again, proved that no ring rust, no long layoff, and no eager contender could dull his blade. With every fight, he etched deeper into the mythology of boxing. His story wasn't one of survival or close decisions. It was a narrative of annihilation, of opponents realizing too late that greatness doesn't always come loud. Sometimes it walks in calmly, throws one punch, and changes everything. As his resume expands and the names grow bigger, the question evolves from whether Inoue is great to where he belongs among the greatest. Fighters dream of world titles. Inoue dreams bigger: legacy, history, permanence. He isn't chasing belts. He's chasing immortality. And perhaps the most chilling part of the story is this: he's still writing it.